Involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, well, man, in the overnight session, the E-mini extended again. I mean, we had a pretty good recovery yesterday, and they just gave it all up, and now they're heading down. So markets starting to really get depressed about the whole trade woes thing. Kind of interesting because as far as I can tell, nothing has changed, but I guess they thought something was going to happen. Anyways, we get the news today. That's what we really care about. It's 6:30 final quarter-over-quarter GDP for quarter one. We are expecting 2.2. And then here in Treasuries, I mean, we're a little bit higher. We did that short that we caught yesterday, man. Must have been lucky because look, it did not stay down there for very long, did it? It came back. So we were fighting against the longer term trend. Isn't necessarily a good thing. Still a good trade and all, but yeah, it's not exactly what you want to do. And here we're up at highs. I mean, we could take some trades here, but I think we're going to wait until we have the news, the quarter-over-quarter GDP. Let's get those links. There's that one, and here's this. All right. What are you guys talking about here in the bonds channel? Today, GDP price index more important than GDP. Better GDP is expected, so it should be non-event, but a better price index could be a trigger. 10,000 was bought up at the top. Yes, rare in one or two hits. That was in the bund? Well, that's interesting. You see a little bit of size up at 16. And there's actually all over the place here in the bond. I don't know why, oh, that's the E-mini, that's why. Dude. Oh yeah, and then how are our cryptocurrencies doing? Okay, well, they haven't, they went down for a dive below 6,000 for a short time, and then they had a recovery. Well, that was a pretty pathetic sell, to be honest. Not like the buyers are doing great either, but I mean, they should have gotten better than that for after all that. And Reddit is still unreadable with the the Supreme Court whole thing going on with one of the Supreme Court justices going. It's just like every r/politics thread is whining, and all of the right-wing guys are coming in and trolling. I mean, I find it funny, but like, there's nothing, can't get anything useful out of it. And Donald Trump is tweeting about how radical the left is. They want no borders, guys. Bunch of tweets this morning. Good point. I'm gonna just link this one. Fund managers want to show investors they have taken down risk for the quarter end ahead of the looming trade war. Think about it. That's what's going on. That's why equities are tanking and treasuries, even though they're going up, aren't really responding like with a panic like they would. Though, are we above? Not quite. We're not quite to where we were in like May. Not May, definitely. Well, here was February. Actually, around the same price. I mean, treasuries look bullish to me in the longer run, so. 3 minutes. Now, Reality Winter does take the plea deal. Smart on her part, to be honest. Okay. Still not quite getting the pull. I guess it's going a little bit in the E-mini, but... $2.2. Well, I'd be more concerned if it came on the low side. End of quarter Probably low activity, rotation to low risk assets should be over, in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like that there should be some unwinding down, but then, like, really. Okay. 2 versus 2.2 expected by that. Jobless claim was 227 versus 220, so that was bad too. This is 0.2. That significant of a miss. Apparently these estimates are usually pretty close, right on. But no, it's not that big of a miss. Price index 2.2 versus 1.9. Actually higher than expected, wasn't it? Which is bad. I'm surprised it's been back and forth across this 13.5 so many times now. Hmm. And lots of level 2 games now. I'll get rid of it if they jump out of this zipper. Okay. Well, ZB is down a good 3 ticks. Ooh. Nope. I'm gonna get out of that one. It seems that the tick down that they were trying to pull some people in, but they didn't. But I probably should have given that one up. I mean, if I'm right about the news, they should go, right? Oh. Seems like on that one that maybe my reading of the news was correct, but they're just not enough to move the needle for them. Seems to me like the E-mini over here is mattering more. Oh, you know what? I need to fix that. Okay. Remind me tomorrow to fix that. To do one contract instead of two. Not that it matters, but off to the races. Apparently not, though. I should have been patient on that exit because I definitely could have gone out at -2 instead of -3. That some hit 12 immediately really bothered me. Okay, they bought it up and it immediately got sold back down. Okay. It's gonna put me to sleep again today, guys. It's a slow all week, and we're thinking that it's because of GDP, and GDP comes out, and nothing all that spectacular happens. So far, it's still just kind of a pullback. I'm still looking long. There seems like there's more buyers here. Market buyers, at least. They're not going to put up a good bid, huh? Well, that's not how that's supposed to go. Bid is super weak and it's not filling. And they stacked. They're playing level 2 games with it. The town just looks really coerced to me. Well, they're not buying that back up. They should be just hitting that. Yeah, the signal that made me go in there was not a real signal, so now I'm in a spot where I would prefer not to be. Okay. 5 year did take up. Okay. Yeah. And those guys at 12 must be really frustrated because the 5 year keeps ticking down and the 10 year just doesn't want to do it. There's just no interest in the 10 year right now. It is so dead. I think since the last few ticks were down, that's actually good for higher, but we'll see. And we got this thing going on at 24. Almost 3,000 contracts now. There's some news on Friday. PMI, personal spending, personal income. Okay, that was positive. Good deal. Okay, so 5K into 24 quarter. I think this is our chance to get out of this poor decision we made. Hopefully, please. Okay. Look at the delta. I feel like that 4,000 at 12 is a little. I don't think that that's gonna hold if they try and hold it. If they try and hit it, I think some of that's gonna pull. If they succeed in breaking these icebergs in ZF, though, we could get a good rush up to the highs. Still fighting sleepiness. First, now, where is Bob Mueller going to list his conflicts of interest? What has taken so long? Will they be listed at the top of his $22 million report? And what about the 13 angry Democrats? Will they list their conflicts with crooked Hillary? How many people will be sent to jail and persecuted on all old and or totally unrelated charges? There was no collusion and there was no obstruction of the no collusion. And what is going on in the FBI and Department of Justice with crooked Hillary, the DNC, and all of the lies? A disgraceful situation. What kind of a funny tweet. He tweeted the first part of that, and then he tweeted the second part of that 13 minutes later. And he was going on about Strzok last night. It was kind of... It's interesting to me, like, you've got the Democrats demoralized here over the whole Supreme Court thing. Wouldn't you want to just let them sit and stew about it for a couple of days instead of again going over to the collusion thing right away? So you had all that buying delta. They were not able to get through the iceberg. I think that they could puke lower, but for me to take advantage of it, I think I would need to get short at 12.5, and that's not happening. Yep, there you go. I guess it's summer, guys. Well, I was right about it ticking down, at least for a tick. You see here, they're absorbing in the 12 too. U.S. quarter growth slowed more than estimated, weighed down by the weakest consumer spending in nearly 5 years. But we're not moving higher. And in fact, there is a lot of liquidity kind of pushing us down. You notice too that this liquidity that's been above us has just slowly followed us down each tick. Well, that may have been a significant take right there at 11.5. Well, that looks like that could be a signal for sure to go long here. They're still running into liquidity in the 5-year though. Come on. Wake up. On ZF, the buyers placed more than 11,000 orders at 24. The price moves down to 23 quarter, and there were no stop orders. Yeah. Seems to me like there are some dedicated players on both sides here. The 5-year, I'm not really seeing much imbalance in the delta. The 30 years looking up. The 5 is the one that's like, okay. There's huge delta imbalance. Lots of buying. They took them down. Nobody was getting out. Now they're hitting 23 3/4. This 11.5 in the 10-year looks really strong. The orders are kind of trickling into 12, but I'm not seeing enough to make me want to click in yet. Does 53 on 11.5 and nearly 6K on 110 seem normal? Well, so that on the first two insides is normal. But it has not been what the bids have been since the start of the session. You can see it right here. The bids have been like below 4. Oh yeah. I mean there's always 4 to 5. Okay. There's the uptick. You're always going to get something like, 2 to 4 on the inside. On one side, whichever one is stronger. And then you're going to get a 4 to 6 on the two prices out from that. So, one thing that I would keep in mind is that when we get slow like this, things start to thicken up a little bit. Like in the summer, you're almost always going to see a lot of size on the DOM, and you're going to see a lot of ice breaking. That's part of what can just make it so difficult to trade. But no, I think we'll point it out over the next couple of days and we'll see. But I think you'll find that having a 5K 2 out is pretty normal. It's just that it wasn't there all morning, and now all of a sudden after the tick up at 11.5 it is. That I find unusual. Nope. Oh, it was bad. Oh, hey. I guess the sellers probably aren't done yet. When I originally got out of that first one, I thought, well, maybe they'll move lower and we'll get something dramatic and we can reverse there. But then it wasn't materializing, and I kind of saw the tick around 11.5. Made me think that maybe it was pivoting there. Now I see them hit 11.5 and it's still holding. I don't know. I do think this liquidity could hold, but it's not necessarily the trade that I wanted, is it? So So this right here, 3x3 in the 10-year on both sides. Slow market. Wow. Okay, now for them to take it all at once like that. How are they doing that? Okay. And is that happening because the 5-year is pushing down? It's not. Yeah. At least 1K of the 6,011 is fake. Yeah. I think that almost always at least 1,000 pulls. Unless there's like an iceberg there, right? No, Renko is just a type of chart. Notice how many of the orders over here are just one lots. Yes, slow is an understatement. I feel like that when we didn't get anything off of that GDP news, that we should have said, you know what? Screw this. Been looking forward to that news all week. It misses. Nobody cares. Now, so you know what's something that I do see on the DOM right now that I think is unusual? 7,257 offered at 120.16 even. Normally, if you're going to offer that much size, you're going to put it at like the high of the session or just beyond the high of the session or whatever. And in this case, he has it 2 beyond that at 16. I guess the 16 is kind of an even number. So it could be like the equivalent of seeing a bunch offered at 120.0. But I just find it curious that it's there. It's like 3 ticks beyond the end of the range. It's just unusual to see a big order at that particular spot. That could be the reason why, but I've never seen it there like that. Markets tend to move towards liquidity. I really wish it was as simple as just, where's a big order? Okay, we're going to go towards that. Okay. I just cleared it again. Couple sold into that 11. Buyers looking a little bit more confident at that 12 that time. Bids looking a lot better. It was 1,600 that ticked down, and now it's almost 2,000. There's 2,000. You noticed that there must be a bunch of algorithms out there that are looking specifically for 2,000 on the bidder offer in the 10-year, because when it goes over 2,000, you'll almost always see a bunch of other things readjust. Yeah, this guy at 11.5 is really strong. Okay, well, 1,000 did pull at the 11. So there's that. Well, the thing I'm worried about is that the E-mini is going to have a really strong push on the open. You kind of have to ask how far can it really go in one day, and they've already gone in the pre-session enough that it would be a bad day in the E-mini. So you kind of have to think that some of that might come back. Okay, well, I don't like that the 11.5 is holding, and I think that that's probably my... Like, I think my read was correct that some liquidity did step in at 11.5 and trying to hold price. It just appears that that liquidity wasn't enough. Uh, well, I didn't think that there was any way it was going to get filled at 11.5. I guess when we started having iceberg at 11.5, that should have been a signal to me that we weren't doing this right. Wow. Look at that. As soon as the E-mini went, they pulled it. Hmm. Really, if you think about it, I shouldn't have been taking a trade anywhere in this area. Could maybe do the 10.5, but then that's like a lower low, right? So maybe we should be waiting for it to come back up at 12.5 and selling it there or something like that. We're just waiting 10 minutes and letting the E-mini sort out what it's going to do. Okay, well, the E-mini is running into some size here. No. No, But was that a 3-tick loss? Yes. Mm, that, all things considered, that shouldn't have been allowed to get 3 ticks down. Has it been doing this ever since? Yeah, it did. Actually, it has. You mean before she goes for lows? Well, I see that 3 there. Yeah. Okay, that's not what I wanted. I don't know, man. Here's the other thing: is almost every I've gotten filled on limit on all of these, and every time that it's happened, I've been like, nope, that's not quite how that's supposed to happen. Like, it could still be okay, but that should not be 2,000 right now. Okay, so that was a little bit more like what I wanted, but it's still not. Yeah, I see. I don't know. Was the right call that I shouldn't have traded anywhere between 135, basically anywhere in the value area? That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I don't know, this 5 year. I would think that they would break this, but well, actually they already broke lows, didn't they? Seems like it should maybe turn around here. Excuse me. See right here, Like this was where when it ticked up here, I was like, yep, I think this is good. Well, yeah, I don't know. When I went short, did I get short at 31? Oh, I closed it again. No, it was 100. Sorry, I meant 10 half. Did I get short at 10 half? I didn't. I got short at 10. So it would still be the same situation. We'd have to be taking it off before they get to the stop for sure. No, the risk is this 090. Really, if anything trades at it, really, if they clear 0.9.5. The E-mini seems inflicted. Okay. That was a little odd, but I like that. I really like that, in fact. That's a lot of buying there, and they're not pushing up through it. You gonna hold it? Okay, well, the buyers are absorbing a lot there. Now, the 5-year is having similar issues. Good grief. Come on. I don't know. I felt like it, so I don't know if you saw. I'm just reading Tucker's comment again. I don't know if you saw, but when you first said, "Hey, this is maybe before she goes," I looked at it and I saw the way that the level 2 was trading back and forth there, and I said, "Oh yeah, actually, he's right. I see that," and I took it, and I got filled, and they took a look, and then they didn't do it, so I got out. And then I looked at it and I said, well, this seems like a lot like the one that I take all the time, where I'm looking for it to go to the low and it just doesn't happen, or there's just somebody waiting in the liquidity, like where I don't expect it, and whatever. Anyways, and then I saw, okay, really if we're looking at the edge of the profile and we're going to go to the other side of the profile, maybe we need to go long here. And then I said, well, this liquidity above us is still there. Those guys are leaving that liquidity up there for a reason. It didn't follow it down, which means that they must think that it's going to come back up to them. So that's why I kind of took it. Now, watching the way that it's going, like, this has been like a lot of buying volume, and they're having a very, very difficult time holding. Look at that. Like 15,000 almost 20,000 contracts now trading here. Like, this just does, even though I was right, this doesn't seem like a super amazing. Now the E-minis was that dive that the E-mini took there. They just are consistently killing it. Okay, so it went through all that drama, and then they just ticked up with no real fanfare at all. I think that you could see this pull. Actually, I think that some of these, I said that this liquidity stayed here for a reason, so I think that they're going to have to do some trading. Maybe some of these guys are going to have to pull at some point, though. And then now they're doing it here at 11 and 11 half. I don't want to watch. I don't want that uni if I want to see the orders. Well, 1,000 went through on both sides, and then they've all just stuck their liquidity on there, and they're like, okay. So this is the one where I say, you buy 11 and you sell 11 half. Right, because it's thick on both sides. They're fighting it really hard. You're likely to get filled on both sides. And then you just have to look at the trend and everything else to determine which side is safer to get filled on. Well, 11 half is a VWAP. So there's, you're likely to get a fill there. And it was an interest area that I've marked on a previous day. And it was an interest area earlier in the day. And the trend is up. So you want to buy 11 and sell 11 half. And then I can't really say like what's more likely to trade 10 half or 12 just based off of that one signal. But there's an 80% chance that if you get filled at 11 that you'll be able to dump it at 11 half. So there you'd get long right there. It's interesting to see how when it goes down, all of the buy orders that rush in. That uptick in the ZF was pretty positive. Okay. Pretty strong downtick that time. The E-mini is on a good recovery. I don't know what that says for us. They're not really swinging together per se, so. And what I see at the moment is that sellers had a momentary victory at 11, and now they've gone dead again, like no orders are coming through. I also see that the knob spread is at the low of its the low of the day, and this is a place where the knob spread could maybe be a buy. Okay, so now they bought back into 110, and there's another iceberg there. If I had taken my 1-tick zipper trade, I would maybe be not the 1-tick zipper trade, but the 5x5 snap. Man, the E-mini is insane right now. Okay, they ticked up and they didn't immediately sell it back down again. That's good. Okay. It's fought here too many times. I think we have to take it. Only 22 quarters. Oh, no. So those block orders at 23 are kind of in the 5 year are kind of making me think that I want to wait this out just a little bit longer and see what it does. If I had not canceled that, I would have gotten filled. And I think you're getting some. I am seeing some indications of the knob spread doing something here. Okay, that was bad. Hmm. Okay. Now they are playing like some serious games here. This pulls, now this pulls. 1,000 lot went through there. E-mini kind of tried to make a new high there and kind of a little bit of a failure. Oh, it's fighting there. This is all just. Maybe this is all just hedging. Guess it's time to wake up. Hey, that held. Finally, the tick up in ZF back to the 22 3/4 and the 30. Well, and they're not able to hold it. The 10-year held the 10.5. Can we reset this? Ooh. Ew. Yes. The E-mini is going down again. I really need to see this 23 even get beat in the 5-year. Okay. Man. Just doing this every tick is getting a little exhausting, isn't it? Oh, the 23 pulled. I haven't actually seen, or have we seen orders go through it? No. It's been 26 minutes. Just focusing on it as it's ticking back and forth here, the way that it's doing is just really annoying. It's not the holding it that's exhausting. It's trying to read it in this action is just... Okay. So when it ticked up, there was 1,000 behind it. And then it pulled. And then they went up to 2,000. That was kind of weird. Okay. I think that the E-mini might be doing a head and shoulders, guys. That's a head and shoulders, guys. It may not hit its targets, but that is a head and shoulders for sure. Okay. So that one, they pulled a little bit and ticked down. Then when they ticked up, there was immediately some orders at 11. Hey.
I want to try to pair your phone with the sprinkler.
Oh, you want to just take my phone?
Oh, I guess I can try. I'll try now.
Well, just don't let it go back to the lock screen. It's funny, I should have just been putting orders here at 10, half, and 11 and stuff, and I mean, how many times would you have gotten filled? Oof. So this 23 we're still watching in the 5-year, right? It held. This is definitely a difficult read. I would say it looks like that the buyers are winning, and that's why I stay in it. But they're not really getting what they want. And then just when I look at the chart, I can see like the 5-year, it touched low and it's been ranging around at the low in the 5-year. That's something that I think should come back. Like it should come back to 23.7, and it's not. It's sitting down here. Maybe that's the slowly ranging and it goes down, right? And then I look in the E-mini, and the E-mini looks like, it's fighting around in a range. They might go a little bit lower, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to break the low of the day in the E-mini. Although it's just super hard to say. The action right now looks bearish, but I don't know if it's going to break the low. And then when you look in the 10-year, I see a higher low. Like this is something that resolves higher. And I think the thing that makes it really weird is that, like, if you want to think about what's going to be more spectacular if we break down below 10 or if we break above 11.5, and I think there's stops either way. Or there might not be stops. There might be these guys just continue to absorb. Okay. See that 23, just want to give up. They're going to stay above it this time. One order went through at 23.25. The one I find weird is that I don't think that 11.5 should be that difficult to clear. But hardly anybody's trading into it. There's also the 08 and ZB. I haven't been paying attention to that as much, but the 08 in ZB definitely looks like look at it in ZB. Higher, 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 higher. The ZB really looks like it's going to go up. ZF is the one that looks like, well, I guess it could go. Hard to say. Okay, well, they traded back through the 23. That the offer wasn't strong. Not that the bid is great either. A couple more going into 11.5. Okay, well, all three of them are poised on the top of their range. Like they could maybe break out. ZB is trying. There's an iceberg there. Of course. Of course there's an iceberg there, Seth. And we've now been doing this for 40 minutes. And E-mini just kind of looks kind of sad. It's kind of consolidating sadly. Well, this is not quite as strong or as menacing as it was before. Might even get a flip here. They're not breaking through that though. Well, that one tends to have a hard time staying above 2000. And this 23, they're still not, they still haven't like pushed it out through it. See, it keeps doing that. The mini took a little bit of a jump up there. Okay, so that tick down at 23 is a little bit more significant than the other ones have been. Yeah, I think I should take that one. I was tempted to take that off, but that 23 just doesn't look safe to me. I think um, there was the pulling at 10.5 got me real excited. Was probably the trick. What I see in the E-mini looks positive though. Well, I thought that when I did that there was a really good chance that they were going to trade back through 10.5 again. And you notice that they're not. They've now become extremely range bound around 110. I can't tell if that knob spread is going to go up or down. Okay. Well, the 5-year got above the 23 again. It's a little curious that the 11.5 has pulled that much because I don't think they've cleared it, have they? Oh no, I do see it clear. 120, 11, 42.50 cleared it at one point. That's where on my long trade I should have gotten out, probably. Look at that.
And now I can set up the zones on mine because of the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I see too much noise. And we're beyond my time period now. Oh man. I feel like one of the things I'm finding interesting about this is that when we were low and I took that, and obviously this is all screwed up and should just. I wanted to see if I could get from there to there, and obviously I couldn't. So this whole thing should just be like out. But when it came down, it was fairly like dramatic. When it's coming up here, it's still like there's just a lot of liquidity. So I find that a little weird. So what would this day have been if I had not screwed things up? 6, 2, 6, -6. No, well, not even that, because this one is like way. This one is actually only -2. Well, let's just say 1, 2, 3. So -5. Yeah, I shouldn't have. I don't know. Here's the thing on that long. I got long here. I held it through that, but then I wasn't willing to hold it through that. Like, what? What the heck is wrong with me? So I think I'm letting this whole action just mess with my head a little bit. My actual original read here wasn't actually not that bad. Like when the bonds were at their lowest, this was this initial pullback, right? Like, okay, they sold it, and then everybody thought, oh, maybe it's gonna be okay, guys. And that's when they were at their lowest, right? And then we've had this. So if the E-mini really does recover, I think that you're going to see this go down and make a new low in the 10-year. That's what I think is going to happen, but I hate trading near the open on one hand. Easy place to flip contracts because of the fighting back and forth, but on the other, lots of potential to just push right through you. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Obviously, I made some mistakes there, like this first trade. So ignore this one because I took two trades in there and blah, blah, blah. And here was this one where I only took 2 ticks off of something that should have been a 4-tick winner, if not holding it even longer. And some break-even trades, like this is over trading here. I bought 12. This first one, the 12 and 13 half. When you look at the volume there, maybe the 13 half. I don't know why I was buying 13 half, but this 12 one definitely didn't make sense. So I feel like I was, I think we had some improvement yesterday. I think that taking that trade was some improvement, but there is still too much impulsiveness there, isn't there? Especially like this one I took, that was impulsive. I think that one was impulsive too. That was like at 635. So why did I think maybe we were going to extend? I don't know. Like that I was getting long, like right on the downtick. Like that should have been like, I should have gotten short there. I don't know what the deal was. So yeah, that's how it goes. I like clicking too much, dude. Yeah. By the way, see that there was a long there and they took it off in the 5-year. I think you short 110. I think you short 110 and just let it do its thing. Can we wait here and give it a minute or two? No, I'm this. You want to get a tick out of it? Yeah, I got 2 ticks out of it, probably. Is Uzi still there? Did you get your tick? It sounds like you took one. I think one of the things that's encouraging my thesis that it's short is that when we broke out, I said, oh, probably should have taken it off here. But then it went through, so then I was like, maybe I should have kept it. But then what? Did it continue? No. So that one I think was the lower. I think this one right here you could maybe say is, if you would cut at 11, is before she goes. And at 10.5 you could still maybe get away with it because it's in the middle of it. But, I mean, really, you want to mess with that? Here you go, another on the lows. You should have held it, guys. Look, I had a short. I would be break even right now. But I said, no, I'm going to walk away. So let's just take this off. I'm frustrated with this. Would have gotten it. It actually, at this 10, it would have been +1. And then, yeah. I shouldn't be doing that. I don't... Anyways. Because I took it, it was going down. Like, even here. I'm sitting here like, oh, I think it's going to go for the lows. But should I take a trade here? Probably not. I probably shouldn't be selling into 10. That seems wrong, right? I should be saying, oh, I should have caught an 11.5 and I've missed it and it's already happened. Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, I'm just yapping now. I will see you guys.